I just want everybody that's listening to know that before the podcast started, Nathan's mom called and told him he was retarded.
It was beautiful.
All of this has been cut so far, so when you want to actually continue the episode, that's fine.
Welcome to My Mom Has Tourette's podcast. This week we found out that one of our mothers got paid 25 cents for 20 minutes of babysitting at the ripe old age of 9.
Wow!
I'm one of your hosts. I'm Andrew.
I'm Nathan.
I'm Josh.
And I'm Andrew. So
This
one
is
of our mothers
capitalism.
was, that's how you do it, man. Ripe old age 9,
That's
learning how
solid.
business works. I love it. And you know what? Back in the day when they were possibly or possibly not alive, that might have been a lot of money for that penny candy, bro.
And without
never
throwing out her age, it was sometime between the 1920s and the 1990s.
There you go.
It was the 70s.
Wow. Spoiler alert. Let's put a spoiler tag there, like 3, 2, 1. Josh spoils everything.
How dare you, Josh? This is unveiling our new logo. It's very zoomed in, so you don't see the whole thing, and it has the actual type in the top of it. Yeah, we definitely all needed to do that. And yeah, so that's
Absolutely
pretty
beautiful
cool.
logo.
Audio listeners, too bad. And how was your
What's the
week,
fat one?
fellas? Whoa.
My week was pretty standard. You know, just did some work. Didn't do a whole lot of new stuff. I'm trying to think of anything interesting that could have happened to me.
Right.
I had to. Oh, okay. So this week would have been yesterday. We had like a cleanup day at our church,
Ooh.
and
Someone broke their
we
foot.
had no.
Oh.
But we had a cleanup day, and we were cleaning out. There's this garage on the property where the church is. We had to we use it to store like different set pieces and such in it, and we wanted to clean it out so that we could fit some of these extra chairs that we have that we use for events. And so we went to clean it out, and there's a push tractor that hadn't been started in 3 years, or a riding mower, sorry, that hadn't been started in 3 years.
Push
And
tractor?
yeah, I
How
said,
does that work?
listen, it's a tractor that pushes the grass off of its natural habitat. But no, there was this lawnmower, a riding mower, that the battery was dead, and we couldn't get it to turn on. We tried a battery charger, and someone who will not be named, that's not named Joel, tried to jump the battery, and it didn't work so well. And so it was me. Joel wasn't pushing, even though we had an 87-year-old helping push this riding mower. It was about 5 or 6 of us trying to push this mower that we couldn't even get into neutral. And it wouldn't go backwards. So we just pushed it, made it do like a big old U-turn to put it back in the garage. And doing that with a bunch of men who tried their hearts out was fun. A couple of them were a little sore this morning at church, and I was surprised they were there. But, kudos for them being in shape in their better age than me. And I was still sore this morning. So they are definitely in better shape than me, if nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
Because everyone is in shape, even if round is that shape. And that's where I'm at.
That is fair.
But that's about the highlight of my week was, doing some physical labor with some seasoned gentlemen.
Ripe old men.
Yeah. His face is
I wrote this
really
backward.
white.
I wrote this backward, so
Really
it looks
white.
really bad.
Really white looked like yellow, so I was stuck with
I
that
read
word.
yellow too. I did too.
Everything else was easy. It was really...
Wait,
looks
is
like
his
it
face
backward?
is
Is
yellow.
it backward for you in the camera?
Yeah,
Oh,
because you could have just wrote it the right way.
It's normally not on the video, because on the video, it's
Everyone give a round of applause for our tech guru on the show. This is the guy who edits our videos and does a great job, but
Here's
we
your
all have our
sign.
strengths. Speaking of which, since we brought you up, how was your week, Nathan? Give us some juicy deets.
It was normal. I worked, and then we came home, and we chilled out, and it happened over and over again. Well, I mean, after I worked, when I came home, because I do editing stuff when I get home. But we went to... Where'd we go Saturday?
That's cheating.
We went somewhere yesterday. Oh yeah, we went to the farmer's daughter, and I got myself a second wife.
I haven't seen her in a while. How's she doing?
Oh, you actually had me there because near Chautauqua, there's a place called the Farmer's Daughter, which is an ice cream stand,
That's
and I was
funny.
like,
no, it's not that.
did they go there?
We did not go that far. No,
Darn.
it's just it's a place in Tennessee. It's like probably a good 40-minute drive away from us, but they have basically lots of food. It's kind of like it's not a buffet, but they just bring like a ton of food to your table, and then you can ask for refills on anything and stuff like that.
I think I went there once with my friends. Shout out to Michelle and Tanner.
Interesting.
Whenever I went down and visited them.
Oh, cool. If it's not that, it's something similar. So there's that. But yeah, no, it was good. I've been there 2 other times over the past like 6 years.
Nathan, do they have like a shop type thing in their store that's kind of like a Cracker Barrel? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Ish.
Yeah, I've definitely been there then. Yeah.
To that one, or is there more than one?
Mm-hmm. That one.
That's wild.
I have friends that live near you. You act like this new.
Well, I forget these things. Okay.
Come on,
yeah, that
man.
makes sense though. That's cool. Yeah, it's pretty good though. And yeah,
he probably forgets I was there when he met his wife. Come on, dog.
Snap! We all were.
Right?
We really were. And that's how I met your mother. So
we need one of those sounds. We don't have it.
I thought you did. Apart from that, what are you talking about? We don't have it. Bagging on me from my memory. Apart from that, it was pretty chill week. I got up early this morning and helped with tech with the church, and then we came home and I finished Doctor Who. We got to watch
Doctor
the final...
Who cares?
Okay, this kid these sound effects. So that's over, and then we get to actually watch season 14.
So you didn't finish
in
it,
May.
You're a liar.
Oh, I did. There were 4 specials between season 13 and season 14, so
gotcha.
Now we gotta figure out something else. That's pretty cool, but I'm gonna pass this torch along to the lovely bearded white man below me, like the glowing white,
like super white,
his face's features. I guess he has a child right now, so I'm gonna pass this over to Andrew, who's already spoken. So I'm gonna, I guess,
all right,
pass this to the white man.
The first idea, not an idea. I need to let you guys know about a TV show.
Okay.
You guys have to find the show Ted Lasso. It's only on Apple TV. You're muted, so no one can hear what you're saying. Nope.
I thought I unmuted.
There you go.
I did.
There we go.
I did. I've seen it twice all the way through. It's simply beautiful. So good.
I love it. My new favorite show.
Ted Lasso.
Like it's so well made. It's on
written. Apple TV.
Well, if you have access to Apple TV and you haven't seen Severance, you have to. Severance is one of the best shows I've seen in a long time.
Secondly, this week I can't believe it took me so long to tell you guys about this.
Uh-oh. That's what we've been waiting for. Yeah.
I'm talking about AI
awesome.
Technology.
Yeah.
I forgot to tell you that the cameras in our trucks are AI powered.
Okay, but people like to use that as a buzzword for anything that's like smart technology these days. So what does it do?
It's supposed to read a person's body language while they're driving and record video if necessary.
I'm sorry, what?
And the idea
is to catch people snoozing.
Basically,
probably
catch them texting while driving. No, baby. If they're in an accident,
see, if I cared to take the time, I would cut any little tiny thing like that out just to like make it more concise. But the amount of time it takes when no one really cares if Josh just said goodnight, baby, and also this continue. But like, man,
Oh, that was my dad.
I love
I'm
this
sorry. She
podcast.
walked in and said goodnight.
Well, tell them I
that's
said
what
goodnight
happens
too.
when we do it at 7 o'clock.
I
We
know.
go to bed at 8. So
Makes sense.
it's a nice idea. I hate it. I hate being recorded. I hate having a camera watching me while I drive.
Yeah, I would absolutely hate that.
But
Good thing is they're coming for your job anyway.
terrible. They can have it. When we get to my little TED Talk here, you'll understand why.
I can't wait.
But
Bro, you know what you should do? Give yourself a shameless promotion and just start like playing and listening to the podcast while you're trucking. Because I know it's just recording your face, but I can almost guarantee there's microphones too.
well, I got business cards made for I'm waiting for someone to get business cards made for the podcast. But the truck stop where I swap loads with the other driver, I leave my business cards there. So
Dope.
once we get the podcast business cards made, I'll be leaving them there as well.
That's awesome. Well, we have an actual like logo we can use to create that now. So.
Yeah. So back to what's wrong with the technology. Like I was saying, it's terrible at recording stuff.
Great.
So one of our drivers, when he goes to get to the yard where he drops his load at night and goes home, it will record him making a left-hand turn into the facility, and the reason it does that is because it thinks he's running a stoplight. not a stoplight, a stop sign. And there's no stop sign to be found. So every single night it records a video and sends it to the company telling them that their driver is running a stop sign.
Ridiculous.
They're
like beta testing it on their actual like
it's
drivers.
Terrible, dude. Like I'm ready to just like knock the thing off the window while I'm driving. I'm so annoyed with it. Yeah, well, we'll get there. Anyways, I've had it record me while I was eating, saying distracted driving. One of our drivers opened a bottle and took a drink out of it, and it took a video of him and called it distracted driving.
Are you not allowed to do that, or is it just stupid?
It's stupid. At that point, he was looking both ways, like driving down the highway. I guess he was like, had people merging and then had people, and him looking left and right. It called distracted driving because he wasn't looking ahead. So he was looking in too many different directions.
Nice.
So it's terrible. So I just wanted to let everybody know about that.
All right.
AI recording for trucks is dumb.
Yes.
Yep. That's real silly.
I dislike it.
Now it's time for Josh's ADHD Corner. The one with the access to the sound effects, and he just...
Yeah, well, I get told I use it a bit often, so
You do.
I'm trying to cut back.
But that's just like an observation. Hey, Josh, what's going on with this corner, huh? We're having a... Ooh! Ooh.
He has the power.
No! We're becoming farmers. We bought chickens. I bought 5 of them. They'll be delivered in the mail the week of April 8th. And we spent this weekend building half of a chicken coop.
That's
Listen,
awesome.
I know one of our mothers has farm animals as well, so you should probably ask them for some tips. They've been doing it for a while.
Yeah, we'll probably
Is
get...
it the one that I accidentally referred to as a pig?
We might...
What? No.
We might get chickens eventually. I don't know, but we're at least going to get ducks one day when we, have our place. Oh,
I
chickens
currently
too,
have
okay.
chicken. I currently have chickens in my fridge.
I sent Nathan a
But
picture.
it's probably a little cold.
Well, I sent both of you guys a picture. I bought 5 baby
5
chicks,
on it.
and they're called chocolate Orpingtons. They're the golden retriever of the
awesome.
chicken world.
Okay.
That sounds like the transfer student from England who everyone wants to be friends with because he's like
Chocolate.
all Chuck English and cool.
Orpingtons?
They're from England. Yep.
Oh, I'm
Chocolate
spot on then.
Orpington.
Pretty cool, pretty cool.
The main
Chalky
breed
Orbeez.
the main breed's called a buff Orpington, and then the other color.
Ugh.
Yeah. They're big birds too.
Nice.
They're dual purpose. They lay about 250 eggs a year, and then they become full grown about 6 months. So if you
You're
want,
telling me they
you can
don't even
poach
lay an
from-
egg a day? That's pretty lazy, to be honest.
Yeah.
They lay about 3 to 4 eggs a week. So we got 5 to have
Gotta pump
hopefully
those-
around 15.
Gotta pump those numbers
That means
up.
someone in your house has breakfast one day a week.
Well, that's why we wanted to get 15, because when I have an egg sandwich, I have 3 eggs. So if I have that 5 days a week, that's 15 eggs by myself.
Josh is
Oh,
just
man.
trying to support his egg habit.
The eggs are so good. though.
Okay.
I've never actually had an egg straight out of a chicken. So
Oh, yeah.
And with that face, that was Josh's ADHD corner.
brought to you by Johnson & Johnson. This is a landmark episode, let me tell you. So I'm going to pull up the first article
Landmark?
for
I thought he said hand mark.
Josh. Do you have anything else to add?
Nope, that's it.
Gaming news. Our first article in gaming news has to do with the wonderful game called Roblox.
Roblox.
So Roblox fans are not happy about the Hunt event. So, many Roblox fans have recently taken to social media to criticize the game's latest event, called the Hunt First Edition. The new Roblox happening has so far attracted criticism for everything from its steep progression curve to rewards, among other things. Following a number of hyped developer teasers, some fans had been expecting that March 15th was going to be a big day for Roblox. That's in no small part because of the widespread theories that Roblox Corporation is bringing back the Egg Hunt, a popular annual event featuring opportunities to grab many exceedingly rare items, which has been replaced by Metaverse Champions in 2021. I know nothing about Roblox, by the way. I don't know, like...
My kids play it.
Really?
The only
Okay.
thing I know about Roblox is that if you can think of a video game, it's in Roblox. It's somehow.
Oh,
Like they make
Fortnite
everything.
these days, because apparently Fortnite's been
Yeah.
doing that too. Roblox is like a little. Isn't it normally for like little kids, or is that? I really don't know.
The targeted audience, yes, is
Targeted
for
audience
children.
is, I guess.
Yeah.
To be fair, I feel like Minecraft is that way too, but Minecraft is for 80-year-olds as well. So, basically, they put out this. Well, I guess just a promo for it, and they're pretty. The fans are pretty disillusioned because they made it a steep actual like progression curve, put a whole bunch of time in, and just for like a handful of rewards that like is not really worth the time in their opinion. Josh is once again just a white man, and
Why you gotta?
because I can barely see that you're a person sometimes.
Don't you
It's
know
funny.
he's human too?
I just noticed sometimes. Oh, that's fair. So yeah, that's a thing that's happening in Roblox. Article 2. Quack. Unreal Engine 5 concept video. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Concept video imagines open world Elon Musk RPG.
Yes, absolute yes.
Excuse me?
I need to hear more about this.
So basically, it's a new concept video showcasing the capabilities of Unreal Engine 5, demonstrating what a video game centered around billionaire Elon Musk's life might look like.
Yeah,
This is
that's
ridiculous. Oh man. So Unreal Engine 5 is basically like top of the line, like the most impressive game creation engines yet. And I don't know if they have it fully out yet or if they're just starting. I don't know. The full launch was back in April 2022. We haven't seen a lot of games built in it yet because it takes a long time to build games. But and if you're building in an engine, you're building from the ground up. I mean, I'm sure you can like move lots of assets over, but for the most part, and I'm sure, especially if you're like within like Unreal Engine 4 to 5, there's probably a lot you can transfer. But I'm not a game dev, so I don't really know all the details there. However,
You know,
uh,
I'd really love it if the opening song when he wakes up in the morning is that Kesha's song, Wake Up in the Morning Feeling Like P. Diddy. I got my glasses on. Yeah.
See, but they should put his name over P. Diddy and make it like a horrible
Elon
voice
Musk.
edit. Wake up in the morning feeling like Elon Musk. Yeah, like something really bad.
I like that. Yeah, so this is not real. It's a concept I assume like a joke to show what the engine can do. And I wish it was real. I wish it was real.
That's a challenge for all of you out there. All 15.6 of our viewers. Somebody's got to blow this up on social media and have some.
Joke?
Why? Because are you
15.6? So would that mean somebody's a 1.6 of a person?
Josh?
No.
I know 5 fat people, and you're 3 of them.
Okay. Are you the other 2?
Yes,
Oh,
absolutely.
The intro of this podcast is just going to be that line and then cutting to the intro. Yeah, so
doesn't know how to work from this.
I'm dumb. Found it.
that was like the hardest insult I've ever heard, and I'm very impressed. So big sad for the gaming sphere. A Five Nights at Freddy's game has shut down forever. Cue the million people crying. So, this Five Nights at Freddy's game was called Five Nights at Freddy's AR Special Delivery. And I know nothing about this game. I played the first couple of them when they came out because they were fun and interesting concepts and pretty easy to get into and stuff. I actually played them on my channel, which is funny, but you just watch me get jump scared a bunch. And it was basically an AR game developed by Illumix. And it kind of placed the player in the world of hostile animatronics with a storyline revolving around players subscribing to Fazbear Entertainment's brand new Fazbear Funtime service, only to receive animatronics with murderous intentions. Basically the entire franchise. And so they started discontinuing it on February 3rd, removing it from Google Play and App Stores. I didn't know this existed. I had no clue they'd ever made this, so I don't know if maybe the advertising wasn't there. I just wasn't the intended audience. But yeah, I guess the game won't be playable if you have it downloaded because it's that kind of thing. It's not a local thing. It would tap into a server, and those servers aren't going to be there anymore. So if you like that, sorry. Play his other games that aren't AR games, I guess, if you want to. But this
ARs are banned in some states.
Well, yes, they are. Yes, they are.
That might be one.
Armalite, baby. Five Nights at Freddy's Armalite version edition.
That is a FNAF game I'd play.
Me too, man. Me too. And that signals the end of gaming news. I just broke
like
my whole
gaming
computer.
news. Oh no.
Oh, it's good. It's good. My phone just dropped on my keyboard. So everybody, I love this game. I think it's really cool, and I just am sad that I don't get to continue it each time. I want to know what happens. We're at 80% of the way through the story. Yeah,
especially the cliffhanger at this one. Sheesh, man. I thought I was playing the game for 20 minutes, and then the end, I was like, no, absolutely not. And I was like, well, I gotta pace myself for the homies. I can't be too far ahead of them, so I didn't play episode 5.
Indeed.
5 the final?
Andrew has the thing pulled up for episode 4 that we can kind of go
awfully
over.
Bold of you to assume that.
Josh, the whole point was for you to go along with it so that it was a smooth transition and we didn't have to go talking about pulling it up. You dang fool. Joshua, what did you think about the game this week?
It was fantastic. It's a masterpiece.
Penultimate episode.
I can't tell if he's just saying that
I am. You know what bothers me the most about it?
I am.
Every time there's a scene that has to do with Beast, I just want to reach through the computer and knock him out because he's this buff-looking dude, but he acts like a little baby.
Okay.
I bet if we wanted to, we could steal his girl.
Dang. He said, I'm going after beauty and I'm taking the home, bro. Taking everything.
That's messed
including
up.
Your dignity.
So one thing I found out while Andrew pulls that up, in episode 2, at the end of it, we talked about going to that hotel, finding out that Beauty works there. We go upstairs, go to the end of the hallway with her. We're about to enter the hotel room, and Beast shows up. Are you stealing my girl? And you kind of get in a brawl because he won't listen to you or her. And I talked about how I was this isn't worth it. I don't want to hurt this guy. Like, it looks terrible. Like, what just happened looks terrible. So like I did my best to not like beat the crap out of him because I just didn't think it was worth it. Like, I understand his reaction to an extent. Although he could just like listen to her when she's like, no, this isn't real. But at that point, whatever. I got like an achievement I did not realize, or not an achievement, I guess, but it's just, there's a way to look at your like big actions or something like that, big decisions you've made in the game, and it shows the percentage of other players who made those decisions. And I got one that only 8.9% of other players like did. So it says, did you keep punching Beast when he was down? You and 8.9% of players never had Beast at your mercy. That's crazy to me because, like, I get it, and I'm sure Josh is just like, I wish I could beat him up more. But
no, I stopped hitting him. Like,
okay.
we hit him once, and I
Yeah, but I believe what the quote achievement is saying is that you never got the upper hand in the fight. Like, you pretty much lost the fight against Beast.
Okay, fair enoch. It just didn't
That's
seem. It just didn't seem worth it to me at the time. And then it's funny that most people were like, I can't let this guy win. I'm the real Beast.
Heck yeah. Which side note, we'll get to that eventually, but Beast was acting like a real beta instead of an alpha this episode. That's all I'm gonna say about that. That man knows his place with Big B.
Take care of our debt. I'm like, I'm gonna smack you.
Bro, we're getting there. Oh goodness. But yeah, so this quick synopsis of the end of the last chapter. So the very end, you kind of go pretty hairy, like werewolf mode, and you're all grr, and you get shot up with shotguns. You tank it like a champ. Bloody Mary comes in, hits you with some silver bullets, breaks your forearm pretty good, and yeah, you were just kind of left in an alley, and that's how it ended. So
it's pretty rough.
So this episode starts out.
And Snow White also saves your life, gives up Ichabod Crane to avoid like her killing you because she was about to cut your head off. And
oh yeah,
in this episode, a valid point is brought up that she likely would have just killed him and then taken Crane anyway. So like she just saved his life. Like there was no way Crane was not going to be taken at that point. What were they going to like? Well, since I killed Big B, Crane, you can just stay with Snow White. You're not going to be. That's not going to cause any issues for us. So no, it was like the best thing Snow White could have done in the moment. But it's just unfortunate because we lost Crane, and he was very obviously in cahoots with these hooters, and we needed to just get that all figured out and not having him sucks. But we kind of start this episode with him recovering from that ordeal.
Yeah, so you pretty much just see the blood trail in his house all the way to his chair, and he has a quick little nightmare that Bloody Mary's there and she's gonna finish the job. And then he wakes up to see the good doctor just removing bullet shrapnel from his side.
It was a lot.
And yeah, what was absolutely disgusting but really well done was the whole scene after that. Is you're like, oh man, I'm in so much pain, and everyone's like, Big B, you're alive, thank goodness. Who I believe that was Snow White that was there along with Colin the pig, and they were both just like kind of happy he was alive. And then he looks down at his arm, and the doctor's like, if you're that worried about it, you can set it yourself. And then, first of all, horrible doctor, I might add, because he said that was a fracture. Bro, that sucker was broken clean off.
Yeah.
And he's like, great. Well, if you're that worried about it, just set it yourself. And Big B's like, well, guess who's alpha dog here? And then you're just forced to get some quick time events to just set it in place. And of course,
that was horrific. I looked away when I did it. I was like, I don't want to watch
and
this.
The first time you think you do it, of course, they're just like, nah, fam, we're going to put you through this more than once.
Yeah, you do like two quick time events.
Arm just flops over.
You're absolutely like mashing the Q button so that he can like pull the arm all the way again. It was horrible.
Yeah, and then it just flops like a piece of meat, and then you do it again and finally set it in.
Yeah.
Oh, it was kind of nasty. But you're basically just in this kind of lightheaded stupor at this point as Big B. You're just like barely surviving, and everyone's like talking about you in the room while you're in the room, and he's not very appreciative of that.
Yeah.
A couple of things sort of happen. This whole scene is just kind of showing off how tough Big B is, and that he's still going to go on with the job. Indeed. Fat dinosaur.
Rude.
But so once he kind of comes to, and the doctor is, basically telling him how he's got to heal.
Heel boy.
Snow White and Colin the pig kind of get into a little bit of an argument. She's over there. She's like, "You need to go back to the farm. How
Yeah.
dare you? You're not even, in your glamour." And Colin, is vehemently defending you in his defense. Like,
Mhm.
bro, I thought bro was just kind of like the lazy roommate who's like kind of bumming off of Big B because of the past.
No,
He
Big
blew
B's like
down
a
his house.
homie these days for him. They're like,
Yeah. So they are. Yeah, you realize they're pretty close. And Colin is just
is
like
so
tearing
funny.
into Snow White. I know,
It's
right?
like he's one of the 3 little pigs that the big bad wolf blew his house down, like in the story, and they're just like homies now. It's great.
Which comes full circle back to what I said last week, is just the character development in this
Yeah.
game is so well done.
I enjoy it.
Because at that point you realize like Colin is the real one. He is a good
Mhm.
friend, man.
Sure.
So he's like defending you as Snow White is just kind of saying, "Oh, well, you need to take it easy. Like you got to do stuff by the book now." And Colin's just like, "Listen, he literally says something to the effect of, "You're really trying to nerf him when he's trying to fight bad guys? Like, what's wrong with you, Snow?"
Yeah.
And then he just looks at you and he's like, "Back me up, Big B." And I was like, "Bro, I'm backing you up. Screw Snow White right now. I don't need her in my life. I need Colin the pig. This dude is my homie."
What's funny is I told him he has to listen to her. And then she leaves the apartment, and he's just like, he's a little bit annoyed. He's like, "You're really not going to send me back?" I was like, "No." It's like, "Yeah, you can stay here."
You're good. You can stay. No, I kind of defended him to her, and she was
Yeah.
like, "You need a glamour," and I'm like, "Listen, he'll be okay. He's
I think
Colin. He
it's
just sits in
hard
the
for
house."
me to be part of the constabulatory or whatever you want to call it during this, because
Mhm.
the whole situation sucks. There's a ton of poor people out there who literally cannot make money because they can't get glamored. It's like you go to the farm, you're not making money there.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
Yeah, I was. Which I'll admit, I was very hypocritical this episode for that. But
you
continue.
like need money to make money. Wait, you need to not look like a farm animal to make money, and these people can't afford glamours. And dude, Toad's out here being all like capitalistic and is great, but man, like Colin and stuff, he's just chilling at Bigby's house because he's done that money to get a glamour. They're supposed to go to the farm, but like glamours are really expensive. Like good old capitalism is like screwing these people over, and I hate it. And so it's really hard for me to like be with Snow White's decision here, because like I want to see change in their world where like people can actually afford glamours or can be given glamours by the. It doesn't seem like it's like the most rare, difficult thing to obtain in the world that would be too expensive for their government to like take care of. But I don't know. I hate that they have to go through that.
Yeah. I also go ahead, Josh. Sorry.
Why? I'm sorry.
You're good. Go for it.
Why? Here's the thing. Why are they in the real world and not in the Fable world?
I don't know if they've touched on it. I think they mentioned something about they were forced to leave, but I don't know if they've ever touched on why.
And
Is there like an
my
actual
thing.
Fable, like it's like a different kind of like parallel universe, and now they're like on Earth basically, or?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure if you want that answer, you'd probably have to read the comics at this point, because these are they're actually DC comics, believe it or not.
Interesting.
Yeah, but this is an actual series, so check it out if you haven't. If you didn't know that.
The crazy part of all this is if they're not allowed to be in their home world, charging them to be in this world,
right?
By having to pay for expensive glamours.
Look, I'm usually not a fan of someone who says like capitalism's the devil. I think capitalism works out pretty well overall, but this is definitely an instance where it fails because, yeah, to them it is 100% a necessity.
Yeah.
Well, and they keep saying, "Oh, like our witches on the 13th floor, the witches." Like, wait, if they're working for you and you see all these people struggling, then why are you charging such a high price? Why is it that all these other black mark witches can create the glamours for so much cheaper, but the government in this instance is, forcing them to pay so much money, and if they don't, they're going to this farm.
Yeah. And something that's completely off the mark.
horn going off. You hear that?
Yeah, it was someone outside my door or my house. But yeah,
I
that's
think it was a
something
bird
that I
running into your door.
thought about.
Call back to episode
Maybe.
0.
Maybe. Right. One thing that I just thought about. So, like all of the other fables that we've experienced anyway, they've all been they were human or humanoid in a way. You
Mhm.
know, Toad is a bipedal toad in the fable. You know, he has fingers and toes and stuff. Colin's a straight up pig. So, like those people, right? When they get a glamour, you know, for example, when we went and saw Narissa the Little Mermaid for the first time, my Big B's question was like, "Hold up, are those legs real?" And she was like, "They're actually my legs. Like I had to pay for them to get that way." But like, how would Colin function with a glamour? He has hooves. Like, can he still use fingers? Like, I don't
I
think
would
they've
assume
touched on it. We haven't.
it almost
haven't,
seems like the
like-
glamour like makes them be able to, because I mean, like Big B would have enormous like devastating claws.
Yeah,
and he can
I
just
guess I
use
didn't think
hands
of
like
that. Yeah,
normal, and it's not
True.
like it's just hiding him. It like actually like magically
Yeah.
puts it somewhere else. Like I think that if Colin were to be able to afford a glamour and actually glamored, he would look and probably be able to actually exist like a normal human. That's my guess, but that's an assumption.
yeah, and no, you're right, and I didn't even think of that because like he's the MC and he has paws. I didn't even, I didn't
Yeah.
take that in consideration. But yeah. So after the scene where you kind of choose whether you're gonna tell Colin he needs to go to the farm or whatever, Snow comes back in and just basically says, "Hey, Narissa is calling for you in the office. She said she's only going to speak to you. I don't know what's going on, but hopefully she can help with the case or whatever." So you kind of trounce on over, or drag yourself over to your office, better put.
Pretty much.
And you see her, she comes in and she's like, "Oh, you didn't look so hot last night after what happened." And, getting shot 37 times probably isn't a good look on anybody.
I wouldn't
But,
think so.
he gets straight to business, tries to ask why she's here. And big flippin' payoff for this guy, because this is when I found out 2 of my theories were true.
I
with the fact
wanted
that
to yell.
stupid
I was
ribbon-
like, the very beginning,
Dude,
Andrew had
so
it.
excited.
I
So
caught
excited.
that at the wrong time because like I was reading my choices and the bar went down too quick and it said pull ribbon off and I was like, "Oh, couldn't it?" And
You
I
didn't do
get it
that,
in
did
time.
you? Oh my gosh.
No, I wanted to.
Dude, and yeah, that was
Josh,
one of
you
the
would've
things.
killed
So
her.
I was so close to getting it.
she does the while she's trying to explain while she's there without saying why she's there. That whole deal again. That's what she does. Is she does the same thing Faith did. And she's like, "Oh, after she's like, sorry, this stupid curse," and then real nonchalantly, "Do you like my ribbon?" And then he kind of puts it together. Well, he can put it together if you're smart enough. And that's I asked him. I asked her rather. I responded to that with,
Man.
"So what if we tried to take the ribbon off?" And when I said that,
Me too.
I didn't reach for it because that was one of the options. But I was just like, "So what would happen basically if we tried?" And then she freaked. She's like, "No, get away from me!" She
Yeah.
like stood up and leaned herself against the wall. She was like super scared, which understandably so, because that's when we realized that you take it off goes the head.
Well, it's also
Skadoosh.
like horrifying for her because she can't say that will kill me. So like
Yeah.
I understand the reaction because it's just like she had to show how big of a deal. I mean, it was also probably an actual reaction, but she also like needed to show you how big of a deal it was to her that you do not do that, and you could probably put 2 and 2 together. So
Yeah,
Or
no doubt. Or what?
Or
you said 2 and 2. That's 4.
Oh, I thought you said 4, not 4. Yeah, me too.
I was like, seal time. What's nice?
So at that point, Snow comes in and she says, what did she say? She mentioned something. Oh, about the crooked man, I believe. And like trying to find out where he is. And Narissa was pretty much just trying to be like, "Yeah, maybe you should go on to your next form of business, Big B, wink, wink, nudge, nudge." trying to say that it's a good idea to follow up on that lead because she can't say it overtly. And that's kind of what you do is you're trying to find out what's going on. And at this point, Snow, you kind of catch Snow up on what happens. I decided to tell her. I also told the Little Mermaid that like I'm gonna tell Snow White, like I have to. She's kind of my boss, and she was
I was
like,
thinking
"All
the
right,
same
but just
thing.
don't tell anyone else." So yeah, I told Snow White, and then she says, "Well, we're gonna we got to go back to the office because we got Toad and Bluebeard over there just basically raising up a storm, being idiots."
And we haven't seen
Um,
Bluebeard since last episode when you went to one place and he went to Ichabod Crane's apartment, well, for me at least, and burnt all the evidence. He has an absolutely wonderful excuse this episode. I can't wait. Let's go.
And so at this point, Bigby follows up his lead with Beauty and the Beast. I believe he had gotten a call. And yeah, he had gotten a call and he thought it was Beast or something because Snow just said that they called and he needed to go by their apartment. So he stops by and Beast is all like apprehensive and he opens the door and peeks through. He's like, "It's you, it's Bigby." And, Bigby just basically says, "Look, pal, I'm not in the mood for games. Like, you called. Why are you being dumb about this?" And, Beast has got to be the pettiest little boy ever. He's like, "Well, I didn't call you. It must be Beauty
Yeah, it
because
was like
she's real
5
good at
minutes
keeping
of back
secrets
and
now."
forth. I didn't
Like,
call.
oh
I didn't
gosh,
call. I didn't.
I
I'm
know.
like, this isn't. We're not here just because like you sneezed and we wanted to come investigate. Like, you called. Just tell us. Like, don't.
Yeah.
I don't like him, man. I do
I
not
know.
like Beast at all.
I know.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of him either. I was, when we first met him, I'm thinking, dude, I am not gonna get on the bad side of a guy whose name is Beast and like is in Fable Town. Just like he's like even looking at him, dude is just jacked. Like I'm not getting on his bad side. And so of course he brings that up whenever we're talking in his apartment. We get in there and he's arguing with Beauty and he looks at me and he's like, "Yeah, and you enjoyed keeping her secrets too." And I'm like, "Bro, I told the both of you I was staying out of this. I didn't keep secrets. I just was staying out of it because it's not my business. But you want to be a little petty little man about it. We can throw these claws again. You saw what happened last time." But yeah, I was.
Yeah, we look good, and Beast is still like messed up from that fight.
He's still
We've
messed
been
up from the fight.
shot like
Yeah.
37 times, and all we do is like got a bandage on this arm, and his face is all messed up after our fight.
And after all that, Bigby's still like, "You want to go? Because I'm not in the mood, guy."
What's funny
But-
is my Beast didn't have bandages.
It's because he didn't get beat up.
I love that it's just little touches like that because even if most people decide to like beat him up there, they made it a choice to like not destroy this man. And later on, it shows that you didn't. And I know that like it realistically that makes sense, like logically, but not everyone would think to actually make that a thing. So I like that they gave options.
Absolutely.
There.
Now, does he treat you any differently? Because he definitely.
No, it's
it
pretty
seems
much
like
everything that you're saying. Like it's
okay. I wasn't sure because it definitely seems like he brings up the past in our instances, like what we did last when we had an altercation. So I was wondering if he was like, "Oh, well, I'll put you down again" or something stupid like that.
No.
But yeah, so that him and Beauty are like arguing. You get a little bit of time while they're in the other room, just having words with each other to kind of check out their super
swanky,
fancy apartment.
It ain't nice.
Have you seen Bigby's apartment? Anything's nice compared to that cardboard box with a pig in it.
Pig. All they have is a big painting of
his apartment's basically a pig pen.
Yeah, it really is. But yeah, you just get the idea. You're like, yeah, these guys are still stupid rich. Like they live in a different world than the rest of us per se, just because they're more well off. And you realize things aren't always as they seem in paradise, because that's pretty much why Beauty called. Is she's officially revealing that they have money troubles. They had borrowed a loan from the Crooked Man because Snow White, while she alluded to it once in episode 3, I believe, Snow White did say something to the effect of, "She came to me for money once, but I had to deny the request."
Mm-hmm.
Beauty brings that up again and just essentially just says we had to go somewhere to get that money because we've just grown so used to this lavish lifestyle. And I was like, first world problems much? Like, just deal with it like the rest of the people, but whatever. You know, you want to get a loan from a guy named the Crooked Man. That's kind of on you, in my opinion. But
Yeah,
you know.
like he's all upset and stuff about like where she's working and hanging out with Big B. But like, let's go
No,
get a
he's
loan
over
from the
here.
Crooked Man.
Yeah,
He's over
it's
here working
absolute.
for the dude.
Yeah, then that's what you find out next is, Beauty of You reveals the financial dire straits that they're in. And Beast basically says, listen, please don't judge me, but, I might be able, things might go sideways for me telling you this, but I do work for the Crooked Man because I didn't have a job. I needed money. Yeah, right.
Crazy.
Like, dude, huge hypocrite. But so, you kind of have this conversation. Somebody calls in the middle of it. And you're kind of forced to either let him get the phone or stop him. And the moment that I saw that I could put Beast in his place and prove that I was alpha again, yeah, I was like, you're not answering that phone, buddy.
I
and
did
he's
that
just
too.
like,
I stopped him because I was like, this is gonna be important. And
No
I
doubt.
figured it really didn't feel like a moment where I would do something like violently stop him, but I figured he would like step in the way or something, and I'm glad I chose that because
yeah, I was hoping it wasn't going to be too violent.
sometimes
myself.
the choices are very
Not what you think they'd be.
yeah.
Which, this is one of the first Telltale games that like really, really popularized. So I'm sure they learned from
Really?
it in the future.
I honestly would be happy if we just like played like the next Telltale game, like if we played like the Walking Dead one or something next. Like this is really cool. I think it's really interesting.
That would be really neat. But we could talk about that later.
Yeah, of course,
However, so this is where they kind of give you the crossroads that they seem to give you every episode of which way are you going to go or what are you going to do next. Because Beauty does reveal that she got the loan from the Crooked Man at a place called the Lucky Pawn, which, go figure, that's where Jack works. And he told you that last episode if you got to talk to him. And Beast reveals that he also works for the Crooked Man at a cut above, I believe is what it was called, a butcher from some guy named Johan.
Spoiler alert, we're pretty much going to find out everyone in this story works for the Crooked Man.
Yeah, it didn't work out so well. Everybody's kind of in on it. And so, yeah, you go to make that decision. And I chose to go to the butcher shop first, personally. I don't know where you guys decided to go first, but that's where I went.
I chose the I forget what it's called. The other one.
The Lucky Pawn.
I was in the
Nice.
minority, like 30%.
Oh wow! How about you, Josh?
To the butcher shop.
I've been alone. I've been so alone with some of these decisions.
Well, I did it for Beauty because I kind of felt like he was like, if you go to the pawn shop, you're gonna get her in trouble. If you go to the butcher, it'll come back on me. So I felt like he was hinting at that, so I was like, all right, I'll do it for Beauty.
I'm gonna be honest. My brain broke and I forgot what anything would have to do with either choice. I'd be like, I was like, I know. I didn't realize it might get her in trouble because I would have chosen the other one too. But
yeah, I chose the butcher shop for the same reason, but an opposite idea. I was trying to save Beast's pride as a husband and as a man. It was more along the lines of like, if something goes sideways, like they're either, if it's at the Lucky Pawn and it goes sideways, they're after Beauty. If it goes sideways at the butcher shop, they're after Beast. I think it's going to be a lot harder to take down Beast, but Big B proved otherwise, so I could be wrong.
Now, since you chose butcher shop first, do you still get to go to the Lucky Pawn after?
Yes.
Okay, because I think it's interesting. Was Jersey Devil there when you got there?
Yes.
Okay, he wasn't for me. It was only Jack.
Oh, interesting.
And you do a whole. Okay, we'll get. Do we want to get into that? Because like I like that we actually made different decisions because we could see how it changed. But
yeah, we can get into that, and we'll start with you since Josh and I made the same decision. But just before you leave, Beauty and Beast kind of suggest. They're like, well, hey, if you catch this guy or whenever you get everything taken care of, they're like, can you kind of make this disappear, referring to like their debt? What'd you think about that? What
I
did you guys
said,
think?
you want me to kill him?
You want me to kill him? Josh, what'd you say?
I said I'll handle it.
Yeah, that's what I did too. I just said I'll take care of it.
And they were
I
like,
kind of wanted to,
no.
I picked it because now it definitely gave them the connotation that I was going to take care of their problems.
Mm.
But I was thinking when I said I'll handle it, I was trying to be vague. Like, listen, I'll just take care of it,
Yeah.
as a police officer or as a sheriff. But no, he sided with him. I was like, well, that's unfortunate, but let's move on.
That is unfortunate.
So, yeah. So how did that go when you went to the pawn shop first? Because I'm sure, had vastly different experiences with that.
So, was Toad there when you guys went there?
No.
No. That's pretty great.
We had so much more happen than you did, so
Heck yeah,
just tell
dude.
your story.
All right, so I show up at the Lucky Pawn, and Toad's in there. He's yelling at Jack because he has Donkey Skin's coat on the counter. And he's like
trying to sell it.
He's trying to
gosh.
sell it so he can get a glamour. And Jack's just like, yeah, I don't really have a use for this. And Toad's just like, oi, mate, buy it. I don't know. He's just he was pretty insistent. He was like, yeah, you gotta buy this. And I walk in, and I just I start questioning Jack and everything. And Toad, when I mention the Crooked Man, Toad's just like, I'll see you guys later. But he was out of there.
Smart guy.
He brought the donkey skin coat. What's that background sound?
I think that's Josh's.
Sorry.
It's people talking.
It sounds like someone's TV. That's all.
Okay. I just hadn't noticed that until now. But donkey skin coat, Big Beard like, you can't keep that. And Toad's just like, oh, come on, mate, because he's trying to sell it and whatnot. And he, being so sympathetic to their plight, because he's out here like trying to get a glamour, and I do bring it up again during the conversation with him, because it's like he's walking around town non-glamored, and he's just, being Toad. But I at some point try to give him some money, and he's just like not. He just wouldn't take charity. He was like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. Like, so that kind of,
Toad said that?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I think maybe because it was coming from Big B or what, I don't know. But he was just like, I don't know if it was going to be enough for the whole glamour or just toward it. So I probably pretty much was just like, he just said, no, it's not even worth it. But I told him that he should go by the office and is all of this before we go there and meet Bluebeard and everything? It is.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So I told him he should go by the office, talk to Snow, see if she can do something for him. And because I was just trying to be nice. Like, I get it. Like, it sucks for them. And he has a kid and stuff. And, like, they can't afford it. But I start talking to Jack. Jack's behind the counter. Jack's kind of annoying. But he's just not my favorite. But I just start questioning him. And, it seems pretty legitimate, at least at first. He said he's there like 1 or 2 days a week. He just gets some extra money. He's like, if you want to come back for whenever the boss is here, good old Jersey Devil, which was a hilarious addition to this, by the way. And, I was just like, I think that you're hiding something. And he's like, well, I'm going to close the shop and he's just like, well, it's the middle of the day. Why are you closing? But I'm like, yeah, I'm going to stay and I'm going to look around because I'm also there. I'm asking about, the woodsman's axe because, Mary had the axe and used the axe on me. And I recognized the axe because it's the woodsman. And dude's just like up and down swearing that they don't have the axe. He doesn't know where it is. Anything like that. And so I start looking around. I don't know why he thought that he could get away with that lie. I just think maybe Jack is not the brightest bulb, the brightest crayon in the bunch. But I'm just start looking around and looking at the display cases. And then there's a display case that's empty. And it says, the woodsman's axe.
Beautiful.
In front of it. Like, what a dummy. Like, why would you tell me that you don't know anything about that when it's like right across the room from you, just in a display case with a thing that you could have removed that says his axe, because it's not there anymore. So from Big Me's understanding, that was because Mary had come by and purchased it or whatnot, stole it. I don't know what these people do. So you kind of you question him for a while, and when you see the axe, you get real. You start stalking toward him, and you're like, yeah, you gotta tell me. I try to like avoid threatening, because once again, I really don't think that he's trying to threaten physical violence to everybody he comes across, just because they're not like cooperating. But he's he still like acts like he doesn't know why that's there or something. Like I don't know if maybe he actually just is that clueless, and I think it's possible. But at some point while you were talking to him, after you found out that the axe was there and there was a display case for it, dude, Jersey Devil comes in with the woodsman, and they're like talking to each other, and the woodsman is there because he's trying to find his axe because someone stole it, and he was like, well, I might as well check a pawn shop because, you know, they sell it, made some money, and I might be able to get it back. So he shows up, and then I just kind of pop out from behind the counter, and I'm just like, hey there. And he actually comes out and just like has a big smile on his face, and both of them just turn toward you, and then what's his name? The Jersey actually says, "This effing guy," and everyone has that reaction whenever they see you. Like you go to the bar and Holly's just like, "Get out, Big B!" Like everyone, they just don't want the big bad wolf around. But basically, this guy is one of the biggest jerks I've come across so far. He's just like, he starts off right away. He's like, hey, I'm not answering your questions. You know, what are you gonna do? You know, I'm questioning him about the crooked man and stuff, and he's just like, he's having none of it. And he's just like, yeah, he was being very, very uncooperative. And then the woodsman is kind of, while you're talking to him, woodsman's walking around in the background, and you see him look down at the display case. And this is after Jersey had told him they didn't have it. So they get in a fight. They start fighting. Like, it wasn't, well, really, he comes up to him and he like grabs Jersey and everything, and then Jersey like punches him in the side. And you have a choice to like grab and restrain one or the other, and obviously I grabbed Jersey because like I like to think Woodsman and I are kind of homies at this point. But he ends up like fighting back after you try to stop the fight between the two of them, and it just turns into this huge knockdown, drag out brawl between you and the woodsman to Jersey, because he punches you in the side too after you like try to break him up. He just like likes punching people, I guess. So you end up throwing, you end up like grabbing and throwing, doing like, that's when it starts the quick time events, him back into like these back doors. You remember the two middle back doors of the pawn shop, and he flies through it, and oh look, there's the woodsman's axe sitting there just like upright in the back behind the doors. So not only Jack was just lying through his teeth, because even if he could feign like, oh, I'm here 1 or 2 days a week, I didn't know that he was here, like he's working the place by himself. You're telling me he didn't go in the back? Like, the axe is there. He knew it from the beginning. Jack had left at this point. He like snuck out the door whenever they started fighting. Nice. You just see it in the background. It's pretty great. But then Jersey, I don't know if like, did you guys get in a fight with him? I'm gonna ask you that.
Finished,
okay. So pretty much. Okay. All right. You just get in this huge fight. It's like a lot, but it kind of helps that the woodsman is also, at one point he rushes you. The woodsman rushes you. He's like, hey, this is my fight. But they just, Jersey ends up getting out of his glamour, and he's very scary, and you end up beating him. I mean, I don't know how it would be if you like lost all the quick time events, but you end up like beating him and getting him like on the ground, and to the point where he's all messed up, and the woodsman has his axe and he's like holding it to his neck, and then you start questioning him, and he finally actually like gives you answers, because he has no choice at this point, because his life has been threatened. But he ends up telling you about the Crooked Man and that he has his door changes, like it moves the door to his place wherever he's his hideout. And I mean, I assume a lot of this is major plot points that you guys went with when you went there as well, but I found it very interesting that it was different between that, and we can get to that point because we're going to go to the butcher shop. But basically, he ends up giving you information about the Crooked Man, which is then used later to find the Crooked Man. And I don't remember if it gives you an option to kill him or not, like the Woodsman has his axe against him, but I assume not. And I wouldn't have chosen that regardless, but after that, I ended up going to the butcher shop, and I don't know how different it's going to be from you guys. And
just
I'll
keep
give
going.
you
Tell us about the butcher shop.
basic rundown of how that went, and then you can say how kind of it might have varied. But I show up, and nobody's there. Nobody, not even like dude behind the counter. So I'm looking around, just checking out the things, point and click. And after a little bit, Mr. Butcher, good old butcher, baker, candlestick maker, he comes out and then he sees you and it's like, oh, Bigby. And you kind of start questioning him too. And at some point he's like, well, I gotta check on this. What was that sound? Uh-oh. And he runs to the back. And so I'm like, okay. So I just kind of went to the back, or I went behind the counter, and I see this red button that looks like it had been pressed. And he's just like, and so you end up following back to the back of the shop, which is just like, the actual like cutscene here makes it look like it's miles upon miles of hanging carcasses.
Right.
You know, it's a butcher shop, but like he's like walking through it and pushing them aside and trying to find out where the dude went. And you end up getting to the very back and finding the butcher back there moving a whole bunch of boxes. And he is basically you kind of you question him more, and the butcher makes it obvious that, like, you know, these people came and they kind of just took over, like his butcher shop was just taken over by the Crooked Man's men, and he didn't really have a choice. They threatened him, that sort of thing. So it's just, that's how he's been living. And they have this place in the back behind this door that they have been, you know, all their stuff set up. And he said, you know, something along the lines of he isn't working for the Crooked Man. He's not helping them, blah, blah, blah. But then you end up opening the door, going back to their little secret lair back there. And there is a warning light that says run, and it is lit up, and it's attached to a thing that makes it very obvious that it's attached to the very front with that red button that he hit before he ran to the back. So he basically warned them that you're there, and so you get pretty mad that he helped them, because, yeah, I mean, obvious reasons. So you end up looking around the place. You end up finding Ichabod Crane's coat, and inside the coat, there are 3 pockets you can check. One of them has, I don't remember what the bottom pocket had, but the middle one had a picture of Snow White. And you're like, ew, that guy's gross.
Great.
And then the top one had the missing shard of the magical mirror, or the magic mirror. Which,
wait, where are you when you're going through this?
In the butcher shop.
Okay.
Ichabod Crane's coat was in there.
Oh,
Interesting to hear how. Yeah.
That didn't.
Okay.
That wasn't at the pawn shop?
No.
Oh, it was for us.
Interesting.
Okay.
Okay, that's very
so
odd.
much different stuff.
Yeah.
happened.
I'm interested in hearing how it changes. But basically, you find, I don't remember what the bottom thing was for some reason, but the top was the top coat pocket was the magic mirror shard you were looking for, so that you can actually use him again, like get him fixed up. And it's hilarious because it was an enormous shard broken, and then it's in his little tiny coat pocket. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, in his hands, it's this little piece that like doesn't even look like it fits.
It's like
the broken thing.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, before it's like this big.
So I know that was long. What were the differences for you guys? You went to the butcher shop first.
Go ahead, Josh. Go with the butcher shop first.
So we go to the butcher. You walk in, and he kind of like, all the meat in the case is frozen, and there's no customers or anything. And he's like looking around, looking at everything, and then like I go to walk up to the little wooden thing that opens up for you to walk through.
Yeah.
And right when he touches it, the dude comes out, and you talk to him, and you start questioning him, and he gets nervous, and so he like puts his hand up on the counter and hits that button, and then goes in, and then like kind of follow, and he, like Big B notices he hits the thing. Then you're walking through all of these dead cows that are just hanging up there, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Mhm. The miles of cow.
oh,
Can
miles.
I add one thing real fast before we just continue this really fast?
Sure.
Bottom coat pocket had a wad of cash, and I took it. It was Ichabod's,
yeah,
Ichabod's
Ooh.
cash.
Yeah.
This is important for later. Continue, Josh.
I don't know what's important, but anyways, oh, you give it. I know what you do with your
All right,
money.
all right. Ribbit.
So you follow him, and you hear the guy talking, and you finally follow to see what he's doing, and he's like stacking these boxes. You yell at him a little bit, and then you tell him like he's a part of it regardless, you know. And then you rip the door open, and it's basically like they're making meth. They're making glamours, illegal magic
Yeah, I didn't
potions.
really explain what they were doing back there, but they're basically making glamours illegally. Yeah.
And they've got dirt on everybody that
Breaking
lives there.
fables.
Yeah, they
Had they? I mean, they ran away too. They weren't there when you got there, right?
yeah, they had the
No.
warning light thing
Yeah.
on and all that. And so they he slides the chalkboard over, and it sees like the orders that everybody's placed. So then you're like, you yell at him a little bit and nothing, and you really don't do much there. You just say like you're gonna go get him, and you know the other guy's like, well, you should if you really want to get him, you should go to the pawn shop. And that's all that really ends up happening there. So you leave and go to the pawn shop next.
Indeed. Yeah, and the pawn shop plays out relatively similarly in the grand scheme of things, but like when you get there, the woodsman is kind of already there with Jersey Devil. You see when we entered, Jack is like leaving through the
Okay.
gate. And so you have like a very brief, like 1 or 2 sentence interaction with him, and he just says like, "All right, I'm done with my shift. See you later." That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
But you see the woodsman like complaining to the Jersey Devil. He's saying a couple things. He's like, "I didn't pawn it. You know, it was stolen from my apartment. I'm trying to see if you guys have it." And then they kind of still get into that altercation where they start wrestling around. You can choose to restrain one of them. I restrained the woodsman because I knew I could handle him physically when it came down to it. If I've learned anything in this game, these fables, if you don't know who they are, they're pretty big bad dudes. So I was like, the woodsman's just the woodsman. I can at least handle him. And we're homies, so I would hope he'd be like, kind of cool with it. But yeah, you still get in the same fight with the Jersey Devil. That whole scene happens. He breaks it. How the woodsman finds out is during that fight. Whenever they go to fight, he gets pushed up against the glass. Or I think he pushes the Jersey Devil up against the glass, and that's when he sees the like slot for his axe, and he's like, "You guys did have my axe," blah blah blah. So you get into that fight, you do all the quick time events and everything, and the woodsman, which I thought was so cool, whenever he like put that axe in Jersey Devil's head, and then he's like threatening to cut his head off, and he looks at you, and you have that little bromance moment, especially right at the end of the scene.
That was
Because he
great.
just looks at you
He
and
looks
gives you
up
that
at you,
nod.
yep.
Yeah, and I'm just like, yeah, Woody, let's go. And so we question him, and he tells us virtually the same thing. We have, you'll never find it. What I thought it was really cool how he put it though, because he's like just blurting out all this stuff about the crooked man.
Yeah.
And one of the things I asked him, I was like, why are you telling me this? Like, are you trying to get me to get out of here real fast or something? And he just says something to the effect of, I'm just making a point that you can have all the information in the world and you still won't be able to do anything about this. And I was like, that was one bad line, man. Like, that was an awesome line of dialogue
That's fantastic.
for them to do that. And so, yeah, you look in the back and you do see his Ichabod's coat. I learned my lesson about not taking the money last couple times, so I said that I was sticking to it, and I'm a man of my word. I did not take the money. The money was left there, especially because this was embezzled funds from Fabletown. You bums. You just took stolen money and
I took
repurposed
it,
it.
and Big B goes, well,
Hey,
he
guess
won't be
what?
needing this.
Hey, guess what? You know who deserved that the most? The citizens of Fabletown. I give it to
That's
Toad!
That's you can. It doesn't matter who deserves it. It's the fact that it's the fact that it was stolen money, and it's your job to give it back to to where it belongs, not to Toad.
Right.
Justice is blind, man. But
Yep.
yeah, so you find the shard, you decide what you want to do with the money in the creepy picture.
I mean, it
At
was
that
just
point,
a
you
picture,
try to
but
leave.
the implication.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah,
Don't call her
Jersey Devil
creepy.
tries to give you the little like cryptic threat as you're leaving, and he's like, "Oh, you'll never find him." And he you have the choice to shut him up, which I'm assuming means just knock him out or something. I didn't do that. I
listened to the
let
whole
him
thing.
say his whole thing. Yeah.
Like, why not?
Josh, did you just leave, or did you do
No, I
anything
let
different
him.
there?
Like, I was gonna shut him up, but I let it. Like, I was reading the dialogue a little bit.
Yeah, and then right after that, since that was the last place you left, you have this scene with the woodsman with the taxi. Did you have that scene as well, Nathan?
Right before you get in the
Well,
taxi?
wait a minute. Hold on. Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something that happened. So while you're fighting, the woodsman looks over, and there's a closet. And in the closet, you don't see Ichabod's jacket at this point. You see the woodsman's axe. And as soon as I saw it, I wanted to bring it up. So you're in the middle of getting pummeled and tumbling with Jersey Mike or whatever.
Jersey Mike.
And
I'm gonna make you some of the best subs.
You have a choice to either hit him with an anvil or pick up the headless horseman statue and hit him with it.
Yep.
And I hit
That's right.
the statue.
Me too.
And the funniest thing happened while you're like looking between the two choices. You see over the woodsman just standing there like he's looking at his axe and he's just standing there. I'm like, great, we're in this big fight, and you're just like, eh.
He loves that axe more
found
than
it.
anything, man.
Heck
Yeah.
yeah. He needed a moment.
So that was
Yeah,
it.
that
Then you
was
have this
that was
moment
really
with the
awesome.
taxi.
Yeah, I loved that moment with him. Like, I fully gave in to the hype, and I let the woodsman have his MC moment, his main character moment. So, like, you're talking to him, and he's like, at first, he's like, to be honest, Big B, I didn't know who to hit with that axe first, whether you or him. And then, you have a little bit of a talk, and you just kind of realize that you guys are on decent terms now, and that kind of chapter of your lives is closed. You guys are, even if you weren't to be friends at this point, you guys would have at least buried the proverbial hatchet, or the literal one in this case.
Yeah.
But he he goes to leave, and you have the chance to like call out to him, and I gave him full authority to be the main character for those next 30 seconds. And I was like, what's going to be next for you, woodsman? And he had his little moment, and he's like, I don't know. And he just like walks off into the distance. I was like, you go, man. That was well deserved.
Yeah.
For sure.
I just asked dude if
so
he's
yeah.
gonna be all right, and he basically said something similar and
Nice.
moved on.
Nice. Speaking of moving on, that's when we move on to going back to the office, and we finally see Bluebeard and Toad kind of arguing with Snow White and Buffkin, just about everything and anything, just petty squabbles, pretty much is what they're getting at this point. So Bluebeard's pretty much angry about all the thing that Crane did, which for the first time, I'll give him props. Like, that does make sense. Like, there's got to be some sort of hierarchy that's going on. If Crane's not in charge, who is? That makes a little bit of sense. I get it. Why you'd be upset about it. And he's like tearing into Snow White, and Toad is all upset because he's trying to like appeal to Snow White to try to get him to give her money or give him a glamour or something, just so he doesn't have to go back to the farm.
Yeah.
Snow basically asks Bigby what he discovered up to that point, so you can choose what you wanted to reveal about what you've kind of figured out. I pretty much just said all of Fabletown is involved, and this is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Buffkin, you give Buffkin the shard, and you have a little moment with him, and he's like, so the mirror's not accepting the glass shard. He's like, did something happen with it? He's like, I know it sounds weird, but to be honest, this is like a person, and he may not want to accept it because the last person that you mentioned Bloody Mary, they have a bad relationship because she uses him as a doorway, and it hurts his feelings and stuff. And so you have this little moment where you just explain kind of what happened, and Buffkin's like, oh, that makes sense. I can calm him down now that you mentioned that. It was kind of random, but kind of cool too that they, I guess,
like that.
make sure they weaved everything together.
Yeah, I
at
made
that
a poor
point,
choice there.
Oh yeah, what'd you say?
Because Snow White's immediately like, let's see where Crane is. And
Oh yeah,
it goes to Bloody Mary. And I was like, oh crap, the one guy in the mirror doesn't want people seeing.
Yep.
And then there's a little cutscene with it where she like breaks something. I don't really understand what
Yeah,
she did, but
it was something, I'm sure, with her power, because her whole fable
She
is like
just
she
could-
appears in the mirror.
Yeah, she could
if
tell
you
that she
call
was
her,
being viewed through a mirror or viewed in general, and she turned around, and ends up like reaching her hand toward where the mirrors, like if the other side of the mirror that was viewing them was in space in front of them, she reached toward it, and like everything kind of went red, and then the magic mirror face man came. He was like,
He's like, absolutely not.
Yeah. And he's just like, yeah, let's not do that again. But yeah.
Yeah, so at that point, Snow White basically just says, hey, go talk to Toad. For the record, we can't pay him. And I was like, oh, this is going to be fun.
Yep.
Here's another reason why the game is saying you should have taken the money. But, I am an officer of the law, and I don't steal. So I didn't take the money. But yeah, Toad is basically saying that's why he's there. He's like, I just need a little bit of money so that I can afford this glamour for me and my family. Or if you guys could just provide the glamour, that'd be great. But I just need it, and I'll get out of your hair. So you basically have the choice between sending him to the farm or telling him you won't, or if you have the money, giving him Crane's money.
Yeah.
Obviously, I didn't have the money, so I didn't make that choice. This is also why I said I was hypocritical earlier, because I told Colin he could stay in front of Snow, and I definitely told Toad he's going to have to go to the farm.
Messed up.
It was a little messed up of me, and he brings it up. He's like, "Oh yeah, when it comes to your friends, the law will bend." The real interesting there, Big B. I was like, "Dang." He's like, "Yeah, that's the worst kept secret in Fabletown, outside of the fact that you have the smallest apartment." I was like, "Dang, come on, Frog Boy."
Yeah.
But yeah, I basically told him, I didn't tell him straight up. I wasn't like, you're going to the farm. There was an option that I said that was something along the lines of, like, you'll have to go there for a little bit, but we'll be able to get you back out. And, I tried to be nice about it, but he's like, it's a bunch of crap is pretty much what he said. And he just walked off.
My dude walked
Josh,
away whistling, happiest little Toad I've ever seen.
Nice.
Oh, yeah,
so
I
you
sent
gave
to
him
the
the
farm.
money, or
And
you did? Okay.
as he's walking away, Snow just kind of like follows him. Like, what did Bigby say?
Yeah.
Because she just told him that he has to go to the farm, and he's all happy. Josh?
No, I sent him to the farm. And then she gave me a speech on like, I know it was hard, and some things, the right things are hard. And but I told him like, maybe like when things calm down, you can come back. But like right now, you have to go to the farm. And he's like, well, what about your pig? I'm like, nah, he's going too. Don't worry.
Liar. I hope that comes back up eventually. I feel like it will, but I really hope it comes back up in the next episode somehow. But so at this point, when you're you go back to the mirror, or you stay at the mirror, depending on how you handled the situation. And he basically just says, all right, well, I'm trying to find where the crooked man is. And then it shows the door actually moving, it has the symbol of the crooked man on it, and then it disappears and goes to another door. Very conveniently enough, one of the, I believe it was Snow who said she recognized where the door was, and it was at Central Park in the conservatory.
Well, I mean,
So
as soon as the sign came up, the door said right next to it, Central Park.
yeah, it wasn't it wasn't
She said
very
she knew
subtle.
where it was, but the sign also on the door said Central Park.
Yeah.
Great powers of deduction.
Yeah, that's why Big B's the sheriff and not you.
So,
But
are we
yeah.
talking about the Bluebeard encounter? Or you you guys didn't really
I'm
have
glad you
we
said
didn't do
that. Yeah,
anything with
I
him.
didn't have any. Yeah, there really wasn't anything with him for me.
After the whole everything with Toad, Bluebeard like is coming at you or something, like similar things he was talking to Snow White with, and then you're just like, why did you burn all of Crane's things? And he says something along the lines of the fact that like he was a creep and we like nobody needs to see that kind of stuff or something. Like basically like that's insane to me, because you go to a place in a we're looking for a dude. We're looking for Mr. Ichabod Crane. I'm going to go to his apartment, and this is like an official investigation. And I'm going to destroy evidence and then just get away with it. It's very frustrating to me.
Like, it's kind of wild, can't lie.
His apartment was bare and everything was just like ashes it's wild. And like that scene doesn't really get resolved either. He just like he has his excuse and then you can't really do anything about it at the moment because you have bigger fish. So
yeah, and I'm wondering if there's going to be implications to that in the final episode, because it just seems weird that if that's all that he wanted to do was to like burn the place down because he was angry, like it definitely seemed like previously he was hiding something, like an actual, I don't know. Like I guess that is just as good of any other reason to hide your motive because you want to commit arson, you know. But I just felt like there was something more sinister at play, like he was going to be more of an evil.
But I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Maybe he's just a jerk and an idiot.
Yeah, that's it. He is just a big bad idiot. So yeah, he at this point, Big B just basically says, "I'm gonna go to Central Park then and try to make it into the Crooked Man's door there." And Snow, of course, is like, I know your emotions can run high, Big B. Basically playing on the whole "don't be the big bad wolf again" card.
Yep.
And you have the option to pick what you want to choose. I really wanted to say that no, it's easier to kill him, and that's what I'm going to do. But I didn't. I decided I just said, yeah, I'm going to bring him back alive. Yep. I'm going to go in and just arrest the guy.
But yeah.
Josh, did you say anything different? Did you choose the same thing?
No, I kind of. I didn't say I'd kill him, or I wouldn't. I think it's kind of like.
Oh yeah, I think the other option was like no guarantees or something. Something along those lines.
I told her I'd bring him in, but like I know when the story comes down to it that that ain't gonna fly.
Yeah, Josh is
like he shot me or tried to stab me, and
he's gonna straight up lie to his boss. I love it. Yeah, so that's the very next scene. You go to the door that you found. You can open it. I didn't kick the door down, although I don't know why someone would. That's just kind of a weird option.
I was thinking about doing it too, but I was like, no. And I just slowly
I kicked the door.
Pushed the door.
You did?
Open.
Did it just open the portal?
Yeah.
Okay.
But my thought was listen, I had a logical reason for it. The door moves. I have no reason how quickly it moves. Between movements, it could be like about to like move on, or it senses me, so I'm like, I'm gonna do this as quickly as I can. Yeah. It's still a funny option because you could just open the door almost as quickly, but
yeah, I didn't know if it would do anything different was all. But yeah, so you go through the portal and you are in this like castle looking corridor, no idea where it's at. It seems like there was some guard who was like coming down the hallway to come see you because he heard a commotion, and it's a
lovely
you see
man.
This guy. Yeah, you see this guy with a hobbly leg and one crutch, and he sticks out his hand and looks at you, and Bigby's just like, "So, Tim," and he's like, "Thanks for leaving off
Timothy."
Yeah, old tiny Tim is the big bad security guard for the Crooked Man. Definitely didn't see that coming.
Yep. He said, "I'm going to take you to the Crooked Man. It's my one job."
Yeah, so that was what I was going to ask. So the whole scene with him is just like are you going to let Tiny Tim just be this meek guy that he is and let him do his job, or are you going to just be
Nah,
Big
the
B
whole
Wolf?
time we're walking, I kept telling him, "You're a part of this now. You're a part of it.
You're a jerk.
I told him he was
You're
part of
a
this
jerk.
now. Absolutely.
Oh man, were you like nice to him at all?
I was nice the whole time, but I was
wasn't
like,
rude, but I
dude,
was
you're
like,
part of this. Like, you're helping
Yeah.
the Crooked Man.
Yeah. I mean, I ultimately said that eventually, but when you said that, I thought you meant like because you have the chance to like smack his hand away when he tries to shake your hand and
Nah,
stuff, or
I
don't
shook
shake his
Tiny
hand.
Tim's hand.
I didn't shake it. I didn't smack
You're
it or
a
anything.
jerk.
I just didn't shake it.
Rude. But yeah, so he's basically trying to tell you, he's trying to sway your opinion on the Crooked Man. Honestly, that a lot of people are here just because they need to be. They can't afford stuff, and the Crooked Man allows them to live in a decent fashion. And it's just the other place that people have to go is his perspective. If you don't go through the legit channels and you have to survive, people just got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
And then they give you the old, Tiny Tim has nothing else to say to you, but he's got to walk you into the room. Do you wait for him, or do you just tell him you're in a rush?
Bro was walking too slow.
Oh, you left him behind. Listen,
I waited
Tiny
for
Tim.
him. I walked along
Yeah,
with
Tiny
him.
Tim tugged at my heartstrings. I was like, bro, I can't let you down.
Yeah.
You said it. This is your one job. I don't want you to get fired, bro. I know you're
Or
working
killed.
for a bad dude, but right now, I haven't pulled him into custody. So right now, I don't want to do anything yet.
Yeah. I was like, "You're walking too slow." Like, at this point, I was like, because I kind of had stuff to do too, so I didn't know because my wife was sleeping. So I was
Mhm.
like, "She gonna wake up? Like, I need to get this episode done." And then I heard my son. He was taking a nap, and he made a noise, and I thought he was awake. So I was like, I'm not gonna wait for him to walk. If I can get this to go a little bit quicker, I will. And at that point, you just walk past them, and then it comes to the ending.
It's horrible.
Yeah, terrible guy. But I love how you go in there and it's just you realize you're in the lion's den at that point because you see everybody who's been remotely involved. You see Jersey Devil. He's right there somehow. He got there pretty quick. The Tweedle brothers are there. Georgie Porgy's there. I don't know if
Only
I'm
one
missing
of the
anybody.
Tweedle brothers is there.
Oh yeah, that's right. You killed the other one.
I'm glad you brought
Both
that
of
up
them
because
was
it
there
kept
for
only
mine.
showing the same one, and I'm like, "Where's the second dude?" And now I remember because I killed him.
Because I killed him. But yeah, and then the Crooked Man has this little says, "See, everybody has the role to fill in Fabletown, even Tiny Tim. You just got to help him find it." And then you have your one dialogue in that scene that you get to choose. He's just basically saying, I think he says something like, he invites Bigby to sit down, as that's what he does. And you have the choices to light up a cigarette, to threaten him, to say, "All right, let's talk and sit down," or just tell him you're coming with me. I told him that you're coming with me because that was what I said I was going to do. I was like, I'm going to arrest this fool. I just said, "Nope, you're coming with me, Chief."
That's
and
hilarious.
Then episode ends. Yeah. What'd you
Nah,
say?
I was
Nathan?
I walk in that room with all these people that could easily all just kill me very quickly because they're all like my enemies. I don't know how I'm going to get this guy out. I said, "I'll talk to you." Sure. I said, "Yeah, we'll talk." I'm not going to let him sway my opinion, but like, I feel like I need a moment to think here. How am I going to get this guy out?
I just said you're coming with me, and he said something to the effect of, "I'm taking you in, like to serve your time" or something. So he wasn't like overtly threatening or mean, but yeah, I just made it clear that I'm arresting him.
I chose smoke cigarette because I was like, if I'm Bigsby walking in
Seems
the room, what
cinematic.
am I gonna do? And I'm like, I'll light one up.
Getting them huff and puffs, which yeah, I didn't mention that, but I love how everybody I think you offered like 2 or 3 people cigarettes throughout the episode, and they're all like, "You smoke this crappy
Only one
brand?"
person. I love the
You offered
Woodsman.
Narissa in the Woodsman, yeah.
I didn't have any of that option.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
The Woodsman is the only one that was like, "Do you have another one?" And I give him the one I light, and he's like, "This is terrible." And I'm like,
Yeah.
huff and puff. I'm like, "You're a cool dude. I get it."
Yeah, everybody can't stand the Huff and Puff brand.
It's pretty funny.
I bet Big B just smokes it because it's his brand per se.
Oh yeah.
He's
Without a
got an
doubt.
emotional attachment to it. But yeah, so they left you off on a cliffhanger where you're in the heart of the enemy's enemy's territory, and then it just cuts to black. I was like, bro, there's no way this is the end of the episode. Please tell me there's another part of this chapter. No, absolutely not.
Good stuff. Yeah, that
yeah.
was a way to
So
end.
at this,
That's for sure.
yeah, at this point, all I need to happen is for Bigby to become the actual full-blown huge wolf, and all of my theories will have come true in this game. And normally when something like this happens, when I'm watching a movie or playing a game, I'm highly upset about it because I'm like, oh man, I saw this coming from a mile away, sort of thing. But something about this game, it's got me engaged so much to the point where I'm like, I'm actually excited that what I'm thinking happens.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear it.
But I believe that means, does anyone else hear that? I believe it's time for
Nope.
the fantasy draft.
Indeed.
Nope. Is corn oil such a thing? It's
Yes.
maize.
It's amazing.
All right. So has
man.
everyone here seen Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So this week's fantasy draft is you got to choose one character out of that show to help you commit any crime. And their job is to help you get away with it.
Well, there's obviously one choice. But yeah.
Well, you got to explain the crime that you want their help with too.
This is open-ended.
Okay. Gotcha.
Well,
so give us the order.
Well, it's you, Nathan, me, Nathan, you.
Okay. Well then, I'm gonna go with the very obvious, and I'm gonna choose Walter White to help me make meth.
You're not getting away with it.
That's not necessarily true. You don't know how sneaky I am. I just need him to make it.
At the end.
You don't know how long I've been dealing drugs.
He's not helping you make the drugs. He's helping you get away with it.
No, you said I get to pick the crime.
Making drugs is a crime.
Making drugs is a crime.
Okay, so
you left it too open-ended, my friend.
To not get caught. If you go back and said, pick somebody to help you get away with a crime, and
he'll get you away.
He got away with it for a long time.
For a really long time.
If his brother-in-law wasn't a police officer, he'd have gotten away with it scot-free.
Mm-hmm.
He died.
Cancer.
Yeah, at the end of 4 seasons because of cancer.
And also a very long time he was just out. We're spoiling all Breaking Bad, my goodness. But it's been around for a long time. Come on.
Breaking spoilers.
But basically, I think he did a pretty good job. Kudos to you, Walt.
Indeed.
Okay. Nathan, who you picking?
Are we going to talk about Breaking Bad every episode now? This is hard. I mean, Walt, that is good, I guess. I don't know, man. I'm going to get Gus Fring to help me launder money.
Ooh, good choice. Old Gus Fring.
Which one's Gus? The black guy or the old guy?
Older guy. The owner of the chicken place.
Las Pollos Hermanos.
Yes.
So the black guy.
Yes.
Okay.
He has other features.
He wears glasses.
There you go.
Not a lot of people wear glasses in that show, actually.
So my first person I'm gonna choose is the boy, Walter's son.
I was gonna pick. I hate you. Why would you pick him? Why would you pick him? I was like, nobody's gonna pick him.
Help me rig the Special Olympics.
Oh,
wow! Gosh. Oh my goodness!
How is he going to know how to do that?
Yeah,
rigging. You're just making a joke. You're just making a cripple joke.
Yeah, you're going to fail at that.
I was going to ask him to help me commit tax fraud, so I guess mine doesn't make any sense either.
Goodness, Josh. Goodness, horrible answers.
You're ridiculous. What's your second one?
The old man in a wheelchair. I'm gonna have him.
What's his name?
I don't.
You don't even know his name? You don't know Hector Salamanca's name?
There you go. You said it for me. Thank you. I'm gonna help him. I'm gonna have him help me build a drug empire.
I mean, not when he's in the wheelchair, but you mean maybe Better Call Saul era?
He was running it when he was meeting
He
up
wasn't
with
running
Gus
anything. He's in a wheelchair.
until he got blown up to the bits and pieces.
So it sounds like you answered your own question. He's dead. Horrible choice. Moving
That
on.
wasn't the best. So is Gustavo. So I guess neither of us are working here.
Yeah. So is all Walt. So far we're
Bars.
all not doing too great.
I'm gonna get
pregnant.
I'm gonna get old Hank Schrader to help me break into the DEA office because he's gonna know how to do it. Just saying.
Good. That's fair. He probably could.
And I'm gonna kill him afterward.
Oh,
Just kidding.
okay.
I'm pretty sure like all of our characters, every character chosen so far is dead.
Yeah. Yeah. I need to look up the name of the guy that I'm thinking of.
Is it Saul Goodman? Is it
Nathan, I like the kitty on the floor behind you.
No, I would be taking in the show, his name is Mike Ehrmantraut, the old white
Mike
guy.
Ehrmantraut, okay.
Yeah, that guy. Him and I, we would be taking people out straight Hitman style. I would be the
There's so
civilian
much more
scout.
of that in Better Call Saul. He's really scary.
Yeah, I've seen, I think the first season of it, maybe second if I remember. But yeah, he's the man. He's the man.
Yep. That's a good call.
He is pretty great. Shout out to Tuco though. I kind of wanted to just get in a bar fight alongside Tuco because that would be fun.
Tuco Salamanca is terrifying.
Yeah, he's a nut job.
He's the most unstable person in the.
But yeah, I definitely couldn't pick Tuco while Mike was still on the board.
Well, that was a great episode, guys.
Yes,
Nathan,
it was.
These fine folks where they can find us if they made it this long.
I don't know. Where can they find us, Josh?
Netflix, Hulu,
ESPN Plus.
This podcast sucks. Oh, we're not going anywhere.
It's like your mom's.
Got him. So basically, you can find us on all podcasting platforms except Apple. That's a meme at this point. And also, you can find us on YouTube. And if you want to go to your preferred method of listening or watching the platform, whether it be YouTube or a podcasting platform, and you want to give us a like, a thumbs up, a 5-star rating, maybe a 4.5-star rating, any of that's fine. Any of that's fine and good. Listen, 4.5 is anything below that. I'm going to question your morals. Loyalty, I meant, and morality. And basically, stop listening.
Tried to make a new word that was
watching, and I mean this sincerely. And I just want to make sure that our viewers are doing their due diligence in helping us become the bigger than Joe Rogan. That's the intention.
Number one, yeah.
That's the intention.
We're coming for
long term. And
whenever you invite us to be on your show, just remember, you're inviting the bigger stars.
And we're bringing lots of nuggies.
I will give Joe Rogan a homemade chicken nugget if he invites us on the show. Maybe 10. I love the fact that I looked up Breaking Bad characters as well, and one of the people that came up in the quote main cast was Rival Dealer Number 1. That's his name in the show.
I love that. All right. So yeah, you can find us all those places. Give us love. Subscribe on YouTube. We still haven't gotten a comment that's... Well, actually, the last episode just went out, so we'll see. I mean, we'll see. If we see a comment that says "Nuggy, please," we do have 2 new subscribers in the last 28 days, so there's that. We have 45, not 43. I know it's mind blowing. Shout out to everyone. We're making this too long. See you later. This is a good episode. We'll see you next week, and we'll get to finish this game, and then we'll give our final ratings. And I'm looking forward to it.
Bye.